I think it's the perfect day to start a petticoat. Hello friend! Today we are going to be starting the petticoat for Glinda's ball gown. Some fun little facts that I have learned about this dress is that it is 40 pounds and the weight of that is held up by a petticoat, no hoop structure, which is very fascinating and like quite literally defies gravity. So today we are going to come up with a plan on how to make this petticoat and what I think is going to be the weirdest, most interesting petticoat I've ever made in my life. Let's go. Here are some of our reference images. This is obviously what the petticoat looks like without the skirt on. This is very valuable because it tells me that, well, it shows me this layer of the petticoat, but it also tells me that all of this, all 5 layers that we're about to talk about on this sketch over here, go into one waistband. So just keep that in mind. Let's start off with my theory. My theory is there are 3 different types of petticoat all on one waistband. The first layer, which I bought cotton organdy for, this is what petticoats were made out of like 100 years ago. They would cover it in starch so that it had like it was stiffer, and we might spray it. We'll figure it out. Again, I'm gonna make a complete mock-up of this because I only have this much, and I'm gonna be very honest with you, this is expensive. What I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do a quarter circle skirt, and I'm gonna break it up into 4 like quarter pieces of fabric, basically 4 panels. All of these seams are flat felled. These lines look like it's actually 2 layers of cotton organdy sewn together, like quilted together. And then all the way at the bottom, it looks like there's a rather thick horsehair braid that also has this like straight line stitching on top of it. And that is like what we see here. So this right up here, it looks like this is this horsehair braid. Okay, so that's my theory on this, and we're gonna do a complete mock-up of this. Okay, so I have a couple issues. It is just slightly too tight, and that could just be because I didn't really consider seam allowances when I was doing it, but I'm also a little concerned. Well, I'm trying to see. Okay, I can actually walk pretty far. So the bottom structure feels really good when I move the way it moves, like it moves with my body. And like this bottom layer, this first layer we're working on, is really just supposed to be for structure and support to hold the weight of the rest of it. This is not floof. This does not add any kind of like additional fluffiness. That's the next 4 to 5 layers. Like if I twirl, So it feels like it's a good size. I think I just need to add probably an inch to all the seams, just because we also need to take into consideration what type of waistband I'm going to use. I'm not sure if it's going to overlap. I don't really know. It took me an hour and a half to do this hem, like with the horsehair braid, but I really like the way that it looks, and I like the shape of it, and I like how it hits, like where it's hitting. So the length I think is perfect. I do have a bunch of this black 6-inch horsehair braid, and honestly I think the 6-inch is gonna be fine. So I guess let's make the real deal. So that moves on to layers 2 through 4. There's 3 layers of these. I know 4 a fact based off my images. They are going to be made out of this crinoline net is what we'll be using for the majority of that for all 3 layers. And I'm going to do 2 tiers. And I think I'm still going to stick with this like circle skirt, quarter skirt, like half or quarter circle skirt for the top part, kind of like a yoke. And it probably won't be half of it. I might do just a quarter, and then a gathered skirt around the bottom. And the bottom of it, the very, very bottom of it, has horsehair braid. And then it has, here's a picture of it, this ribbon, and then a lace. That's what this lace is for. So I have, I think, 30 yards of this lace. And it might be, the way that I thought of it was I would like trim kind of from these roses down. So like this whole portion of it I would use for it. So spatially I was thinking this much down, and then I would just save this for another project or something because it's actually really pretty. But I have that much of it. But I'll be honest, both of the like circle skirt situation and a gathered like tier off of it are things that I'm very confident in my ability to do. So I don't know if I'll do a mock-up of them. the final layer, which I think it's gonna end up being 2 layers, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make 1 layer, put it on top of all these other layers, and make our decision based off of that. But we're gonna start with 1, and that is gonna be made out of crystal organza. Now, this is the stuff that you all know. However, I found online that they actually dyed their crystal organza, and if you look in this picture, it is just a very, 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 very light blue. And at first I thought this was just the light that they had on her, but you can kind of tell that it's a combination of things. So we will be dyeing this, and we will be doing a very basic 3-tiered petticoat with horsehair braid at the bottom, and that, yeah. So that's the plan. All right, so that is petticoat making. I mean, like, most petticoats aren't this chaotic, but that is making Glinda's petticoat. I am going to have the pattern available for this on my Patreon when I'm done with this project. Basically, if anyone subscribes to Patreon for the duration of like January, February, March, probably that's about it, because I don't know if I'll be working on this into April. I will also have it available to purchase. Again, once all of Glinda is done, I'm gonna have all of the patterns for Glinda available to purchase. So if anyone wants to make this themselves, they can. This was really fun. I really only have 2 changes that I wish I made. I wish that this was like 2 shades lighter, like it wasn't so blue. I probably should have gone with my gut and only had it in the dye for 10 minutes. I did it for 12 minutes. it still looks great. I still love it. And then the other thing is I wish it was a little longer, the top 2 layers. The bottom layers are perfect. When you gather things down, they do shrink a little, and I wasn't sure how much they would shrink. So I tried to do math and tried to figure it all out, but it wasn't quite enough. And so now the top 2 layers are shorter than the bottom 4, but that doesn't really bother me that much because once I get the dress on top of it, it's not going to be seen. If you actually know like how to calculate how much something's going to shorten by how much it's gathered down, I would love to know that because I still haven't really figured it out. I kind of just wing it for things. I absolutely love this petticoat. I think it is super perfect for this. I think that it turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I don't know how it's going to fare to taking up 40 pounds of dress. I'm still kind of concerned about that, but you know what? Absolute worst case scenario, we change it up, make a hoop or something. I think it's beautiful. I think it was challenging. I got to work with 2 new fabrics, which was the crinoline tulle as well as the cotton organdy. I used starch, and then also I sewed in more horsehair braid than I think I've ever sewed in my life. Next week, I will be doing a complete mock-up of the petal skirt, so that I can get all of the sizes of the petals right, the base skirt right, because it is a base skirt with petals attached to it. I really hope you are enjoying this series. I am absolutely loving making it. Let me know what you are listening to or working on in the comments below. I've been listening to a morbid podcast, and then I've also been watching The Discovery of Witches, or A Discovery of Witches, on AMC Plus or whatever. I got the 7-day free trial, so I've been trying to like watch it all in a week. Well, all that's out there. Anyway, that's what I've been watching and listening to. That's the media I've been consuming. Let me know what you've been consuming down below, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week with a new video. If you like this, subscribe. You know, give it a thumbs up, tell your friends about it. It helps the algorithm find me and yada yada yada. And also I've been posting a lot more on Instagram too, so if you would like to go see things and not have to wait 2 weeks for them or a week for them, I'm over there. All right. I'll talk to you all very soon. Goodbye.